Hello there, lovely. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Lunchtime Cafe right here on Camnet TV. Sincere apologies that we are coming a bit late. This was due to overrunning in our programming. However, we are here, and of course, you expect nothing but the best in current affairs this particular afternoon. My name is Joe Smarter, and we'll be crossing over to the High Court and find out what our court reporter is up to, Nelson Zulu, this particular afternoon. But for now, we'll run you through the events that took place at court this particular earlier in the day when former President Edgar Lungu appeared at court, and you'll be getting the details in the following clip. We'll be right back after this clip.
And today we raised a preliminary issue that was to be heard to say that the matter has already been dealt with. However, the court may have heard because of issues to do with load shedding and all, so we're not able to see the font size. Our font size was rather small, and they've asked us to amend to have a bigger font size so that they're able to read, and obviously to attach the petition that was filed by Mr. Chizombo, as well as the arguments and affidavit. We have undertaken to do just that, and the matter will come up in the June session of the Constitutional Court. Matters. And today we raised a preliminary issue that was to be heard to say that the matter has already been dealt with. However, the court may have heard because of issues to do with load shedding and all, so we're not able to see the font size. Our font size was rather small, and they've asked us to amend to have a bigger font size so that they're able to read, and obviously to attach the petition that was filed by Mr. Chizombo, as well as the arguments and affidavit. We have undertaken to do just that, and the matter will come up in the June session of the Constitutional Court.
Okay, familiar faces there in the background, of course. Council Makebi Zulu there. Then on your left-hand side of your screen, you had the former president, Mr. Edgar Chagwa. Then behind him, you had his former political advisor, Dr. Zumani Zimba. Then you could see that Dr. Danny Pule was also in the background. Mr. Wright Musoma was also in the background, among others that went to offer solidarity to the former president. Now, you have heard from the Learned Council that these issues, the matter has been adjourned because of issues of load shedding. However, our reporter, who is at the court premises, Nelson Zulu, will be giving us more details regarding this particular story. And there was commotion at the court premises. Let's go on this particular clip where a named PF cadre, Peter Kashala, popularly known as Peter Macheni, has been picked up by the police for allegedly assaulting a female UNZA student who went to attend former President Edgar Lungu's eligibility proceedings before the Constitutional Court. So you can see in that clip the gentleman being driven away in a police vehicle, obviously to one of the police stations right here in Lusaka. Now, in another story, dear viewers, we have been told, in the morning we read the story that a commissioner at the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, had actually resigned from his position as commissioner. That's the letter there where Dr. Henry Wangambushi, State Counsel, had resigned from his position at the Anti-Corruption Commission. However, information emerging and intercepted by Camnet TV lunchtime chat crew indicates that the Learned Council has rescinded his decision. This is a developing story, and definitely we'll follow it to the latter. In another letter, which will be shown on the screen, he is indicating it is indicative that the State Council, Dr. Mbushi, has rescinded his decision to resign from the Anti-Corruption Commission. So we'll be showing you that later, and obviously we'll be getting in touch with relevant authorities much later to find out the authenticity of this particular letter. But for now, we have a letter that we have intercepted, which indicates that the Learned Council has rescinded his decision to resign from the Anti-Corruption Commission. We'll be displaying that later on your screen shortly. And also, Nakez has issued a statement talking about the plight of the grants that are being given to teachers and how they're being misused. Now, Nakez Executive Director, Dr. Aaron Chansa, released this particular statement where he says Nakez is not surprised by the current abuse of free education grants. It reads in part, while deeply concerned about the ongoing revelations of serious abuse of free education grants within the Ministry of Education, National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, Nakez is not surprised by the revelations because the abuse has been in public domain for a long time. So we go on this particular clip. We'll be right back as we get in touch with our court reporter, Nelson Zulu. Stay tuned.
Surprised that free education grants are being abused. Though we are very disturbed, we raised alarm about this last year in July, but our alarm was ignored. We condemned very expensive meetings, workshops that were being organized by senior ministry officials. This red flag was not adhered to. These very expensive meetings are still being organized, and what is being reported is what we said last year. And let me take this opportunity to thank the Minister of Finance for doing this audit, which has revealed that more than 356 million kwacha has been abused in schools. And as we appreciate this audit, we want to call upon the Minister and his officials not only to use empty threats, but make actions to discipline those that have been found wanting. We can't allow this kind of abuse as a people. We need to get annoyed and demand for social accountability. We want these grants to work as intended, other than just spending on personal issues and also on expensive workshops that are not even necessary for quality education. So we are happy about this audit, but very saddened that a lot of money is going to waste in our schools.
Okay, so that's Dr. Aaron Chansa there, the Nakez Executive Director, talking about the misuse of education grants in or at the Ministry of Education. Obviously, that's his observation there, representing that organization. And obviously, you heard what he had to say in that particular clip. Nakez has issued a statement. But for now, our court reporter, Nelson Zulu, is ready for us, and he wants to bring us up to speed with what has been obtaining at court premises. Nelson, good afternoon, and welcome to the Lunchtime Cafe.
Good afternoon, my brother Joe. Thank you so much.
Okay. Glad that you could join us this afternoon, Nelson. Let's get into it. Today, we have been following, obviously you have been updating us away from the screens about the happenings At,
Oh, yes.
at the court premises, just kindly bring us up to speed. Former President Edgar Lungu was appearing this particular today, earlier in the day. Bring us up to speed.
Yes, we did see former President Edgar Lungu appear before the Constitutional Court this morning. This is a matter where we've seen that there's a youth advocate, and so to speak, maybe just to bring to light in terms of what the citizens out there should be looking out for, is that this person, who's also a youth advocate in Nigeria, Bright Chizombe, is also the National Students' Council of Union chairperson, who's sued or brought or petitioned the former president to court, challenging the eligibility of the former president contest in 2021 election, as well as the future elections. And as of today, this morning, we saw the court adjourn the matter to June to determine the petition on the eligibility of the former president Edgar Lungu to contest in the 2021 election and future election. This follows a petition that was filed, obviously, in the Constitutional Court by Mr. Bright Chizombe on October 9, 2023, in the Constitutional Court. Now, Mr. Chizombe is seeking the court's declaration that former President Edgar Lungu was not eligible for the presidential bid in 2021 and does not enjoy constitutional rights to contest future presidential elections. Mr. Chizombe, who is also NACOSU chairperson, just like I did mention earlier on, is seeking a declaration that Mr. Lungu's participation in the 2021 general election was unconstitutional, and is citing Article 106(3), which states that a person who has twice held office as president is not eligible for election as president. But prior to 2021, Joe, is that the Congress had refused to rule on Article 106(3), citing reasons of absence of the persons that were involved. Okay, so it's presumed itself on Article 106 subsection 6A to B, which states in A that to have served a full term as president, if at the date of which the president assumed office, at least 3 years remained before the date of the general election. And then B, or not to have served a term of president if at the date on which the president assumed office less than 3 years remained before the date of the next general election. So all these were some of the arguments that were put up. But we've seen that this youth advocate has brought before court the petition challenging this eligibility issue. And now the question probably out there for our viewer or our audience would be basically, what happens next if the court rules otherwise to indicate that the former president was not eligible to stand for elections in 2021? I think that is something that people are also looking out for. Interestingly so, while at the Constitutional Court ground was, I would say, a group of students that were seen chanting or drawing up support for their fellow student, who is the National Council of Students Union chairperson in Nigeria, Bright Chizombe, who's the petitioner in this matter. We did see students from the University of Zambia, students from Evelyn Horn College come up together, and at some point there was an altercation that led to an alleged PF cadre in Peter Kashala, rather, who is commonly known as Peter Machen, being detained or apprehended or picked up by police officers.
Let me find out, Nelson. Is this the same gentleman that was picked up at the PF Secretariat last time, who issued unpalatable towards Honorable Mao Sampa? Is this the same individual?
Definitely, Joe, he is the same individual, and the same individual is also facing a court case at the Lusaka Magistrate Court, where he is facing offences of having been armed in public, which is against the law. So the same person, yes, has been picked. I can safely confirm that he has been picked by police officers while it's at the court ground. Now we await to have official information from the Zambia police spokesperson in Ray Hamonga in terms of what charges are going to be laid against him, if at all they advance to arrest him or detain him.
Okay. Nelson, for those that are joining us, just kindly tell us, why has the matter been adjourned?
So why the matter has been adjourned is the fact that we did see defense counsel or defense lawyers being led by Makebi Zulu advocates advance their arguments before court, where there's a call for a preliminary issue to be raised, indicating that this case has been heard before 3 times before the courts of law. 3 times in that, the first one was petitioning the eligibility of the former president, then was Dr. Danny Pule, who is the Christian Democratic Party president. The second one was Pampika Palasa, who also contested, or rather challenged, the eligibility of the former president. And then the third and fourth ones was the Legal Resource Foundation, as well as Shishua and Chapter 1 Foundation that had challenged the eligibility of Mr. Lungu back then. And we saw that the court had pronounced itself to indicate that Mr. Lungu was eligible indeed at the time. That's why we did see him at the ballot in 2021. But now, coming to why has the matter been adjourned, the matter has been adjourned in the sense that the defense lawyers being led by Kebe Zulu did file documents that, according to the panel of judges, did indicate that the points were unclear to the courts, and they needed to amend their documents so that they're a bit more clear. And one of the reasons that were advanced by the defense lawyer Makebi Zulu was the fact that they were unable to complete their document printed simply because they experienced some power cuts, or in a nutshell, load shedding.
Okay. Now, having given us that elaborate background regarding what was happening this particular today, rather earlier in the morning, when the former president, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, appeared before the court. Let's backtrace a little bit to earlier in the week. You have been following another court case of abduction. Can you bring us up to speed, Nelson, as we begin to wind up?
Yes, we did follow up on the case of the Hatembos. Basically, this is an issue that has to do with the farm number 1924 of Kalomo district, where we've seen Feluna Hatembo and Milton Hatembo, in this case, having been allegedly abducted as well as kidnapped by the opposition leader in Forum for Democracy and Development, FDD leader, Edith Nawape, who is actually standing accused with four counts of abduction or kidnapping, if you may put it that way. And we saw that as of yesterday, Feluna Hatembo was still on stand and was testifying, where she also did indicate that, look, the bank, or rather I should say the farm, was sold to their brother-in-law in Bernard Mazuba after they learned that the farm was actually used as collateral by their father, Mr. Samson Hatembo, was passed on by the year 1987. So in order for them to repossess part of the farm, what they requested for was the fact that they stored part of the farm to ensure that they repossessed a title deed that was under possession at Lima Bank. So that is where the bone of contention was. And as of yesterday, we also did indicate or did see Feluna Hatembo testify before court in cross-examination after being cross-examined by the lawyers led by Chifu Mubanda from the side representing the former, the opposition leader, rather, Edith Nawapi, indicates that they don't know who President Hakainde Hichilema. They've never seen him from the time the land was sold up until now. They've never seen him eye to eye. So it is only now that are being brought before court that this issue is unfolding.
Okay. And on the area issue, first of all, before we even go to the area issue, as we begin to wind up, let me find out from you, when next is this particular matter going to be presided over in court?
The issue of the Hatembo is currently underway at the Lusaka Magistrate Court, and Feluna Hatembo is still on stand because Madam Edith Nawak is being represented by two lawyers that are being led by State Counsel, Senior Counsel, Chifumo Banda, and we are seeing that it is continued cross-examination. And one of the interesting factors that should be put out from the onset here is the fact that Milton Hatembo, who is alleged to have been abducted together with Peluna Hatembo, the sister, did testify earlier and made mention that the farm was directly sold by him to now Republican President Alain Hichilema, and there were attempts by the opposition leader, and he did now to ensure that the opposition leader then and currently president is not seen on the ballot. And this was a case that we're trying to cook up, because they are alleged that Madam Edith Nawak connived with some 4 lawyers to ensure that the now president is not seen on the ballot and is actually trumped up with charges of abduction as well as kidnapping.
Okay, so when next are they appearing in court?
Currently, they're still in court, and once court is done, that's when we can have a date as to when exactly they can appear before court, keeping in mind that this week, the preset dates that were indicated, that was Monday, Tuesday, and obviously Wednesday today. So now the court is supposed to decide as of when these accused or as well as the witnesses are supposed to actually appear before the Lusaka magistrate again, to ensure that the case sees the light of day.
Okay. And the earlier case involving former President Edgar Chagwalungu, in case, for those that are joining us, just in case, when is the next date when this matter will be heard?
Fingers crossed, Joe. I would like to mention that for our viewers that might be joining us now, is the fact that this case involving former President Edgar Lungu, where the petitioner is a youth advocate as well as the chairperson for the National Council of Student Unions in Zambia, in Mijelo Chizombe, is actually going to take shape again in June 2024, because the court, at High Court, Supreme Court, as well as the Constitutional Court, the courts, they operate in sessions. So the session for June has been set as one of those days or months where we're going to have this case be heard, because at the moment we are not actually privy to the information or the actual dates when the matter is going to come up. But following court documents that we're going to peruse through, we'll be able to tell when exactly in June we are expecting this case to be back again, and what is going to be the landmark the landmark conclusion of it. Fully knowing that this case, Joe, has been actually pronounced before 3 times in court.
Okay.
Firstly through Dan Pule, and then secondly through Pampita Palasa, and then thirdly Legal Resource Foundation, Shishua Shishua, as well as Chapter 1 Foundation. And we did see the court rule that then former president was actually eligible to contest the 2021 general election, because the contention was that he had served just a portion of a term that was left by then late President Michael Chirukiasata. So it was actually concluded that that did not amount to a full term.
Okay. Nelson, let me thank you most sincerely for giving us that court update. We do appreciate you, and obviously these are developing stories, and with you, we will follow them to the latter. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joe, for the opportunity, and I'm pretty much sure that we picked 1 or 2 things. Okay,
thank you. So there you have it, viewers. That's our court reporter there, Nelson Zulu, giving us an update of what was taking place today, this morning, at the court premises, including this particular week, Monday, Tuesday, and today, Wednesday, what has been obtaining in terms of court cases at our at the magistrate court and the high court. That was Nelson Zulu there. Now we go to our earlier story, where a commissioner at the Anti-Corruption Commission yesterday, there was a letter circulating that he had resigned from his position as commissioner. Barely within 24 hours, we have seen another letter that is circulating that his decision to resign has been rescinded. Like you can read from the reference there, my recession of resignation from Anti-Corruption Commission. So he has reversed his decision to resign from the Anti-Corruption Commission, and we're talking about Dr. Henry Wanga Mbushi. You can see the signatures there. However, we are following this story to the latter just to find out the authenticity of the second letter. Now we need to go. Unfortunately, time flies when you're having a progressive discussion. I have been your host. My name is Joe Smata, on behalf of our court reporter Nelson Zulu, and of course my director Mr. Isaac Chifita, and the entire production team. Thank you so much for choosing us amongst many. Keep it Camnet. Good afternoon and God bless.